right. Okay.
And now we can start talking about stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna continue doing that 360 painting. I'm gonna try to get pretty far. I thought about just going straight into it and start doing a lot of lighting and stuff. You see what John was doing, man? John was doing some crazy stuff, dude.
Yeah, I saw what he was doing. It actually gave me the idea that I have some panoramic images that I've taken before, like in Hawaii and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I wonder if I could just take those and then use it as a template, like a base, to
Yeah.
like get the perspective and then paint over it, like whatever I want to paint over it. So that's what I'm thinking about trying actually. Like I'm like, I think that might be a pretty good idea. As opposed to just doing it with models. I mean, I've done it before. Again, I've done like some panoramic stuff, but they had to do it in Maya, and then there's parallaxing. So obviously, like I can't. There's some things I can't get away with if we're not going to parallax. So I got to figure out that part. But I'm curious. The person that I want to see try it is Jamaro. Like, Jamaro's been like creating some crazy ass line art and stuff. So
Yeah, it was good. I saw the stream today. It was really good.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I was like, dude, that guy should make like things in 360. Who you know who's killing it is our previous student, Diego. I don't know if you've been seeing. I mean, he's already been doing VR stuff already. We saw him in Barcelona, but he's been doing these little paintings now with Blender and stuff, and this stuff's looking tight. I was like,
I
damn,
haven't seen it.
you haven't seen it? All right, he's probably actually he's actually in the chat right now.
Okay, cool. What's
Diego,
up, Remy? What's up, Matt? What's up,
post
Denzel?
some links to your thing, man.
What's up, James? What's up, Stefano? What's up, Gabriel? What's up, Matt again? What's up, Diego? Yeah,
Yeah.
you were just talking about. What's
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
Taika?
He's the one that did that VR portfolio.
Yeah, remember.
Yeah,
That's
remember,
great.
yeah. So now like he's doing the 360 stuff too, and he's doing some crazy shit. And I was like, dude,
Yeah, I think that's going to be the one that's going to get a lot of attention first is the 360 stuff. I mean, like as soon as I started putting it out there, and here's the thing, like I'm not the first person to do it, right?
oh, for sure.
But it's like, for whatever reason, I get people thinking about it, right? Like people don't consider it until they see, oh well, like there actually might be some more to it, and it's really cool to see. I'm glad to see that, and I realize the power of just introducing ideas, right? And
Yeah,
so I'm thinking of other stuff that I want to introduce for people. I've mentioned something in the Robot Pencil uh, uh, private group that we have, something that in the future, which is like licensing your own images. I won't get too much into it, but I will in the future. And I think that's going to be another wave of just awesome things that are useful for artists or people who create their own content. You know,
yeah, I would agree.
I don't know if you get to see it. It's part of the if you go to the
I
Robot
think I
Pencil
think I
thing.
have. Well, actually, I think you need to go through and look at the requests because obviously that group is only for people that have been a part of the programs Robo Pencil, like who's
Uh-huh.
part of the guild or who's taking classes with us. But there are so many requests, and I can't keep track of who was like actually a student and who wasn't, so I feel bad. So I'm not sure if we're getting requests from people that are not students. They're just like they just want to be part of the group. And so, like by default, I just ignore them unless someone like actually messages me and says,
Yeah,
like,
if you're part of the group, message us directly, um, or we need a better system to allow us to follow along with
yeah.
that.
Because then like I get all these things and I'm like, is he a part of the group? And I'm like, it sounds like that name sounds familiar, but I'm like, I don't want to. I'm like, I'll let AJ deal with that shit. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So we'll leave that alone.
Oh,
But
what's up, Jamaro? And then we
yeah,
got
Jamaro. Actually, guys, Jamaro is going to be
Tammy.
streaming at 3. Is it 3 p.m.? I want to say 3. No, is it 4? Shit. Let me look at. I got it right here. It's going to be streaming at. What am I doing here? I have no clue.
Get your
Is
life
it
in
3
order.
p.m.? It's 3 p.m. Yeah, 3 p.m. It's gonna be streaming at 3 p.m. on his channel. I guess I'll probably just use yours tomorrow. I'm gonna be talking about Edge Control Expo and stuff like that, and all that good stuff. So come through. He was already kind of streaming earlier
Yeah,
today,
it
kind of
was
testing
awesome.
it out, and that's what you guys saw this morning was him testing out his stream. So we'll probably just use yours because it looked pretty sick to me. So we can just use yours and we can just jump on a Skype call or a Google Hangout and talk. But he's gonna be hanging out. We're just gonna be shooting the shit, probably whatever. Jamar, you and I are probably gonna talk about the Get Down. I think. like the
I
entire time.
I just saw the Get Down. Or I haven't watched all of it. I just watched the first episode and it's
I
part of the
never saw the
second.
Last Dragon, AJ, so we can't.
What is The Last Dragon? Is that a movie? What is that? God damn it. Yeah, Kaylin, for whatever reason, never thought I ever watched The Last Dragon. Every time we would talk, he's like, "You never seen that?" I'm like, "Dude, I accidentally saw that." He's like, "Nah."
I'm gonna buy that for you for your birthday. I'm gonna buy the
Dude,
DVD.
that would be nice. The DVD? What? VHS, bro.
I'm gonna buy you a DVD of it. I actually have like two. I actually have an extra DVD of that program, and I actually Jacqueline's seen it and she's like, I don't like it, and I'm like, you watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Show enough.
Yeah, so she's never. I don't think she's that. She's like, I don't like it. I do not like that movie. I'm like, what? Hater, hater. What? Jamar's never seen it. Oh my god.
Jamal, you haven't seen it?
What?
Well, yeah, if you watch The Get Down, then you'll definitely love, because you can see a lot of influence.
Yeah, you can see where all that shit came from, which came from that time period of like the growing hip hop like in the Bronx. Like that's why I love that. That's why
But
that's why I
just
love
like
it.
with a lot of like kung fu in it, though. It's mostly kung fu. Yeah,
Yeah.
The Get Down's dope. It had that kid from Dope. That movie Dope.
Yeah, that's why I like it too. I was like that was like really
Great
perfect
cast.
casting with
Yeah.
that. That was like really smart on their part to have that guy. Because I don't know, did you ever see Dope? That's why I love that. That's why I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, Dope was like really well done. Like, yeah, I think people didn't know what to think about that movie because like when they saw like the advertising, but then when it came out, I was like, dude, this movie is freaking hilarious. It's so good.
Yeah, it's good.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. It's got Jaden Smith in there. He's kind of funny. There's a lot of funny moments in that as well. That I'm just like, what?
Yeah, Jaden Smith's great. You know, I know on a personal level, he's kind of weird, right? He says like really weird stuff.
He's actually a really good rapper, which is really
Yeah.
fun because I think some people were kind of like, shut
Dude.
up. And like I played in beast mode, like that 9 minute
Oh,
style. And you're just people were just like, wait, what? And
Yeah, he's good, man. He's just weird.
he's like really good.
Yeah, you could be weird and good at stuff. It's
Well,
like,
I think people just want to hate, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like no, but like before he was bad. Like some of his raps were like kind of whack. But then
well,
all
like he was like a kid though. Like,
yeah, he's a kid, and all of a sudden, like he just came out with that freestyle, and you're like, what? Because like
Yeah,
I remember
give
one time I
everybody
was
some
getting my
time.
tires fixed, and I was listening to some stuff, and there's a guy next to me, and like we're waiting for the store to open, and so I'm just blasting music in the morning, just like hanging out, waiting for the store to open, and literally there's this black guy into the car, like he literally like knocks on my window, and he goes, "Hey, what you listening to?" I was like,
Jaden, bro.
yeah, he literally like knocked on my window, and he was like, "Hey, what you listening to, man? It sounds dope." And I was like, it's Jaden Smith. And he's like, for real? And I was
It's like being caught like listening to Bieber. You're
Yeah,
just like,
he didn't believe it. Well, actually, before that, I listened to Childish Gambino, right? Because actually, my fiance
Childish is
Jacqueline
great.
was parked next to me because I was actually dropping off her car first to get her tires rotated. So, but she was parked next to me, and so the black guy like walks up to my window and like knocks on my window, and then Jacqueline's sitting there looking at me like, is this guy about to like do something? And I was
racist.
like- and so
Calling your fiance racist subconsciously.
Well, she has some valid principle. She has some valid reasons for that. I could probably see. But plus, the guy did kind of look a little bit like Teeth wasn't really the nicest. Like, kind of dressed kind of like
You're
grungy.
not helping out, dude. You're
Yeah,
not
it wasn't-
helping the
wasn't-
cause.
wasn't helping out. But like, I figured
Yeah,
he
let's
was like
continue
didn't
the
look
story.
threatening to me. So like, I was just like, I just rolled out my window. I was like, hey man, what's up? And he's like, yo, what you listening to? And I was like, oh, this is Childish Gambino. And he's like, who's that? And I was like, oh, you never heard Childish Gambino? So literally, I get out of my car, we're like, listening to music, and I was like, oh, so the next song comes on is actually that song with Jaden Smith, and he's like, yo, who's this? He's like, this shit's kind of tight. And I was like, that's Jaden Smith, and he's like, get out of here. I was like, nah, dude, Jaden Smith. He's like, man, he's like, I never would have guessed that. He's like, Jaden Smith and Childish Gambino, huh? He's like, that's that one nerd on that one TV show, huh? I was like, yeah. I was like, don't hate because they're nerds, man. Like, just because they're weird doesn't mean they can't rap.
Yeah, exactly.
Never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, it's funny that we were playing a. It just sucks, man. Like we were playing. We have these game nights every Monday, and Jamal, you got to come, man. We got one in LA. You got to roll with us, dude. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But anywho, like afterwards we're hanging out in the Spectrum, and there's this this guy driving around, and it was an Asian guy, right? And me and the guy is like, well, I was kind of cool, but like the other guys were just like, who's this guy? Like, why is he driving all around and stuff? And I'm like, dude, he's not gonna do anything. He's probably looking for somebody, you know. But it's like we live in America, and like the assumption that someone might shoot us is like a very plausible and not an unreasonable like thought that was going through their minds. You know what I mean? And then they got me freaking out a little bit too. I was just like, yeah, maybe, like, the hell, you know? And it's like, it sucks, dude. Like, see what's going on in America? We need to calm down with that gun shooting stuff, man. Like, do you know, statistically speaking, if you were to go to like a any kind of sports game, like let's say you were to go to watch Angels, which is like 20,000 or 30,000 people in one area, that you are in America. There's a chance that one person will get shot and murdered. That's how many times people get shot in this country, right? And that's freaking sucks, dude. It's just like that fear, you know?
Yeah, Jacqueline was a little bit worried because we went to Embarcadero.
Sure, man.
She's like, "Wasn't someone shot playing Pokemon Go?" And I was like, "Yeah, but that was at night." I was like, "I don't think you have to worry about it. Like, we're gonna be there in the afternoon."
It doesn't matter though. Like there's people like shot in broad daylight, dude.
This is true.
It's just
Like, it happens.
It happens, and it happens too much, and it's starting to piss me off, man. I'm not a big fan of this, obviously. And you know, we hear about like the big ones, right? But like, it's not just about the big ones. There's like constant shootings, like every day. Like I bet there's a shooting that happened today. Maybe it's like one person, but that one person might be like a 10-year-old child that accidentally shot themselves. You know what I mean?
I was like, "Pokemon Go, man. That's how we do it." It's actually funny that you mentioned that because I was telling Jacqueline's brother because he lives in Hawaii, right? He lives on the island, and obviously, like playing Pokemon Go out there is a way different experience, obviously, because people are out
just out on the beach, just eating
hamburgers. Yeah, you're out on the beach, and literally people have lawn chairs, and people are just like have cool beers and shit. So the parents are chilling on lawn chairs while their kids run around at parks at night, and it's mostly safe for the most part. There might be a few mulks and like, you know, like kind of gangster island boys, you know. But for the most part, because it's such like there's so many people, nothing's gonna happen. And plus, there are literally no guns on the island. There are no guns. So for the most part, like there is crime, but most times it's mostly stabbings, and most times in northern that people just fight. People just like fight in the streets because I prefer. So it's like they just fight it out.
Oh yeah, with the fight you can run away. You know.
Well, with the fight, it's punching, and then after that, it's like okay, we're over it. But,
you cool, bro? You cool?
It's one of those where like you fight it out. Like they usually fight in groups. So everyone's like it's like crazy like gangs in New York stuff. But like again, it doesn't happen with Pokemon. But like when we do it in the Bay Area, like we'll drive, but then we'll drive in a parking lot, and then I'll drive, and then she's like, "Oh, stop right here," and I'll stop, but she won't get out of the car. She'll catch the Pokemon. She's like, "Okay, drive over here," and I'm like, "This doesn't seem very fun." And so then you'll see everyone in parking lots driving around in their cars because no one wants to get out because everyone's still afraid they might get jacked or something like that. So it's like, it's really hilarious because like there's like a restaurant owner like looking at this parking lot and he's like, what the fuck is going on? Because there's like literally all these cars driving and stopping, like driving and then stopping at night. And they're all like, and no one wants to get out of their car. And so it's going to be funny if Jacqueline's brother ever comes out and he's like, "Hey, let's go hunting." I'll be like, "All right, man. Grab this knife. Grab this vest," and then be like, "What for? What?" I'll be like, "Said you want to go hunting, right?" Like, that's how we do it. This ain't Hawaii. That's how we do it in the Bay.
You just hook him up with a Glock. And you're just like,
yeah. I was like, "You got your Glock? All right. Here are the rules, man. Never go outside. When you go out, we go out in twos. Behind my back, touch my shoulder. Right. Here's the tack line." It's like literally something.
You attach your Pokemon to like a scoped like M16. And you're just all right, let's roll. Go.
It's literally like going out in like a zombie apocalypse if you're out in the Bay Area in some places because you just never know. So it's like it's funny just like the cultural differences of like going out there. You just walk out like in your sandals, you're chilling, shirts on, like shirts off, like just catching shit. People are chilling, like selling plate lunches, spam UCBs. People are drinking beer. But then like out here, you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna catch that. It's not worth it. You just be like, why didn't you catch it, man? And you're like, I chose life, bro. Like, I gotta catch them all, but I gotta be alive to catch them all. I can't just do that kind of stuff. So yeah, like the gun thing obviously is definitely crazy, which is funny too because I was in Texas, and then I obviously have a lot of cousins in Texas, and a lot of them are gun owners. Like they have guns on them, like and stuff like that, and they do it, and they're responsible and they're chill, and so it's like you
Sure.
see both sides of the coin, and it's like it's kind of a weird cultural thing that it's like I'll never understand for the life of me. So
Yeah, it's not about people being responsible, right? It's about the amount of weapons that are available. That's the problem.
yeah,
It's a numbers problem. It's not on a personal level. Obviously, there are people that are responsible and have no ill intention, right? Obviously, it's just like think of it like this: like if buying a powerful weapon like a bomb, like a highly deadly explosive, was like like just as available as guns were, you know
yeah,
what I
that
mean?
would be a huge
There
problem.
would be a lot of mass bombings. That's just how it is, you know? It's just math, dude. It's just like straight up like for instance, we have like the more people can have phones and texting and driving, right? Like there's laws now, right, against that because the more people get phones, guess what happened? More people would start getting in accidents, right? It just happened. Like
Yeah,
if you look 10 years ago, I bet you the numbers of texting and driving was very, very low, like accidents, right? It's just a numbers game, man. And so, what needs to happen is really just like a real paradigm shift of what gun ownership looks like. Like, and really, it's just like the difficulty of getting it needs to be increased.
have you
There's
seen Black Market by any chance?
no, I haven't.
You should totally watch that show. Do you have cable? You don't have cable, do you?
No, I don't.
Damn. There's actually this. You ever heard of Vice TV?
I live in 2016 or 2016, bro. So I don't have basic cable.
Yeah. Well, Vice. There's a new television network called Vice TV,
Uh huh.
and it's pretty much like it's kind of like weird. It's definitely like all these kind of weird shows that are definitely talk about like taboo things in America or just
Hmm.
taboo things in general. And there's a show called Black Market, and the host of the show is the guy that plays Omar from The Wire. Not sure if you've ever seen The Wire or not.
I haven't, but heard a lot of good things about
Yeah.
it.
So he's from the Bronx or whatever, and so pretty much he pretty much does like all this like he pretty much goes into like the black market and people let this guy in and he kind of interviews people like they're all wearing masks and shit too but you know they're all wearing like masks
Sure.
and have the guns or whatever, but there's one where they talk about the gun trade in America and what a lucrative business it is and how certain places have like crazy gun laws, and he's like, yeah, so what we do is we go to these gun places, these gun conventions, we buy a bunch of guns, and then we have something called gun runners, where these people literally go and run guns. So they literally put guns, they hide them in their car, and they drive them across other states where like
Sure.
it's really hard to get guns,
Yeah.
and then they sell them.
Oh,
they
yeah.
sell 'em to
Duh.
like people and stuff like that.
Duh. Like for
So
instance,
just
there's
talking about like the trade and like how lucrative it is, how crazy it is, and it's like you just see all these guns people have, you're just like holy shit, like
yeah.
it's a really cool
So so like there's a big problem in Chicago, for instance, right? Chicago has like a huge crime problem, right? And a lot of the gun activists will say something along the lines of like, well, look at Chicago, right? Like they have really strict gun laws, but yet they have one of the worst like gun crimes ever. So well, yeah, but look at the states right next to them. They have very lenient, very loose gun laws. You're telling me that it's not that difficult to just drive cross state, buy guns there, and drive it across state? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not that difficult, you know, to drive potentially a few hours to a different state that has literally you can go to Walmart and buy a shotgun, right? And then drive back over, and then bam, you got a shotgun.
Yeah,
Like it's
you should watch that show when that guy goes to the gun convention and he buys like these guns and like he has a little camera on him and he's like, "You guys need ID or whatever?" And he's like, you're good, right? Like you're not like a bad person." He's like,
God damn it.
"Nah." He's like, "All right, cool. Let's give me a few minutes and fill this thing out." And all of a sudden they have them, and yeah, it's crazy when they interview people, obviously, because they have masks on and like
Sure.
they distort their voice and stuff like that. And you hear the shit that they're doing like with them, and they're like, "Yeah, dude, I gotta get paid, gotta do this, gotta do that." Like it's some crazy stuff. And then the next episode was like illegal gambling and talking about like illegal gambling rings,
Yeah,
and
sure.
they were interviewing people that like their job is to like rob illegal gambling rings. And they're
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, that's what we do. We
Oh,
rob
let me shout out to some people. So we got Mark up in here, Gerard, Histian, Sergi, G again, I believe. Andre, Martin, Tanmay, Federico, Jamaro, we already said what's up. Dalton. Oh yeah, I think we're gonna go to CTN. We're just not gonna have a booth. We're probably just gonna go to hang.
Yeah, we'll
Got
do that in
Mike.
Designer Con. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike is up in here. Mo, what's up, Mo? Eloy, Timothy. Um, let's see who's new. Christian, I think we already said. James, what's up, Will? Will's up in here. Hung. Oh, he's asking about Kalen streams. I've told Kalen about that. He should do more streams. Julio.
I want to do more streams.
And then Danielle. What's up, Danielle?
What's going on? Yeah, actually, yeah, Jamaro's seen it. Oh, yeah, me and Jamaro could totally talk about Black Market. But you should actually look into Vice TV. They have some really great shows. They have another show about, like, cyber wars.
Oh, yeah?
And they, like, it's a guy that interviews, like, people, like from Anonymous or whatever, or, like, crazy cyber things that have happened in the past, like, 20 years. And they, like, talk about it. It's really cool. It's a lot of, like, really interesting shows on that thing, man. It's dope. Yeah, someone said weapons will always be available. That's very true. But again, you look at somewhere like the island, like Hawaii, where like they're not really available. Yeah, you don't hear that shit.
Yeah, it's not about them being available. It's about them being like the quality of their availability, right? Like if they are, like if you can go to Walmart right now and buy, let's say, what is like the M80 is like the crazy fireworks. You can't do that, right? You can't go to any real store and buy like a highly deadly explosive, you know, and you can't just go and buy, let's say, a car even, right? Like the car is potentially a deadly weapon as well, right? You can't just go to a store and just be like, let me buy a car real easily. Yeah, there's a lot of things that go to buy something like that. So of course, you know, and it's just like there's like that example in Florida, because Florida's the worst, where some 20-year-old just went in, bought a freaking crazy automatic weapon in under like 20 minutes or something like that, right? And there was he basically said there's nothing to it. Like he just went in, bought it, and then walked right out, right? It's like it's you're not buying a pack of gum. Is what I'm trying to say. You know, you're not going and say, hey, let's we're gonna go camping. We're gonna go hunting. So let's go get Or like, here's a better example. We're going to go fishing. Let's go buy a fishing pole, or bait. Oh, you know what else we might need? A rifle. Why not? It's like, no, there's definitely a difference. And I think the problem is that people are treating it like these weapons are just like whatever, right? And that's the problem here in America. Because everywhere else in the world, pretty much understands that guns are pretty deadly, And for whatever reason, the people that are really the activists against it don't see it that way. They're like, no, this is my right, And it's like, what? Why is it a right though? Like consider the circumstances of why that's even an amendment, And at the same time, it's just really just a numbers game. Going back to like the availability of it, it's just too available. That's the problem.
I feel bad actually because there was for people that live in bad neighborhoods too. That's where it's like really sucks. Like remember when I was going to Texas, there was like actually like a Pokestop like in the airport. Mm-hmm. So me and Jacqueline are playing, and there's a security guard, right? And it's just like this like black security guard, and he's like, "Yo, y'all playing that Pokemon Go?" I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh man," he's like, "I used to play that shit as a kid, man." I was like, "Oh, word." I was like, "Oh, you should play." He's like, but then I found out I had to go outside. Can't be doing that, man. I was like, what? Why? He's like, I'm gonna get shot, dude. He's like, I can't be going out at night and going out during the day. And I was like, oh, I know where you live. I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. He's like, I love that game, man. I used to play it as a kid. Like yellow, like or what's like yellow, whatever, blue or yellow. But then I found you had to go outside, and I was like, can't be playing that. Can't do that. I was like, oh man, that sucks. There are probably people that live in ghetto neighborhoods and they can't play the video game.
Yeah, I think that's the least of their problems, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think they're worried about. I don't think some kid in the ghetto is just like, oh dang it, I can't play Pokemon Go. I think they're more worried about if their dad's going to come home that night. You know what I mean?
The struggle's real, man. It's like, oh man, I felt bad for that. Well, it's like a grown man too. That's the sad part. It was a grown man, like literally like older than us. Like a grown man was like, I used to play shit as a kid, man. I want to play that game, but I can't. I
Well,
was like,
like, yeah, I'm from a pretty poor neighborhood. Originally, like Barstow, California. It's not a poor neighborhood; it's a poor town. And yeah, like every neighborhood's relatively poor, like contextually. Um, and there was a guy named Anthony Jones too, and he would always get in trouble, but I would always have to go to the office, because my name was Anthony Jones and his name was, but I was Anthony C. Jones and he was Anthony N. Jones. And so I'd come in and they're like, "We found weed in your locker." And I'm like, "What? I don't have a locker, first of all, and I don't smoke weed, you know. And they're like, "What? You don't have a locker? Aren't you a senior?" And I'm like, "Dude, I just started school. I'm a freshman." And and they're just like, "Oh, what?" And I was like, "Look, is there a chance there's another Anthony Jones here?" And they're like, "Oh," and there is. Sorry. And I'm like, "Well, that's very revealing." And I knew that Anthony Jones. They called him Bugs, and he was really, really a nice guy. But he hung out with the wrong kinds of people. He used to call me Tiger Woods because I always wear hats, which is still true to this day. And then there was another time I got called to office, but this time I was a little bit more prepared. Probably it wasn't me again. Um, and then they were like, "Yeah, your mom wants you to go pick up your little brother from school." And I was like, "That's cool, because I don't have a little brother. In fact, I'm the only child. Are you sure you got the right one?" And they're like, "What?" It's like, "Dude, just look at the whole name, please." And so then that was a thing. And so then years later, I get like a call from one of my friends, like when I was outside of Barstow, I was like living in the OC area, and then I get a call from one of my friends, and they're like, "Oh my God, thank God!" I was like, "What? What's wrong?" I'm like, "Dude, I just read in the newspaper that like you got shot. I thought you got shot." And I'm like, "No, I'm not in Barstow anymore." And they're like, "Oh, dude, yeah, in the newspaper it said Anthony Jones got shot," and I freaked the hell out. And I'm like, "Really?" I was like, "Oh no, it's the other Anthony Jones, right?" And and here's the thing, guys. Like, I know more than one person that got shot, and I actually know a person that got shot and murdered. You know, and this is a guy who hung out with the bad types of people. Let me give you an example. Like, we went to one of their parties, this guy, and then went to when I was leaving, I went to my car, and guess what? There was no my little CD player, because I was using a little CD player, was stolen. Right? The only people that could have stolen were people at the party, and there was only like 6 of us at the whole party. And so I go back in there, and I talked to this guy that he's kind of like the kingpin amongst his friends, right? I was like, and we were pretty good friends. He thought I was cool. I thought he was cool. I was like, "Dude, someone stole my thing today, like from this party." And he's like, "That's not cool, man." And he's like, "What? Really?" And then he's like, "All right, guys, who stole AJ's CD player? It's not cool. He's one of us, man. He's a homie." And then one of them's like, "Oh, that's yours, Doc? Oh, my bad." And he's like, pulls it out of his backpack and gives it to me. And I'm just like, "God damn it," you know? And he's like, "It's all cool, dude." He's like, "No hard feelings." I was like, "Yeah, it sucks, but yeah, what can I do about it?" Anyway, that same guy, really cool guy, just hung out with the wrong people at another bonfire party. Was basically shot and murdered, man. And then another one of his close friends was shot and now is like crippled from the waist down. So I know people, man, that got shot, and it's just like, God damn it, you know. Um, it's such a terrible situation, and this is Barstow, dude. We're in the middle of nowhere. There's like I don't even know where you could have even purchased a gun. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea. You know what I mean? And so it's just kind of like, it just sucks. And I wish he was the only person that I knew, but there's actually a couple others that were shot. Some were not murdered, some were murdered. And so it's very real, man. And so think of it like this. Like, I could have went to that same bonfire party. You know what I mean? Like, there was no reason why I wouldn't have gone. It wasn't like these parties were super crazy, gangster affiliated. Like, those people were bad, hung out with bad crew, but you could still go. I went to plenty of them, actually. You know?
Yeah.
Imagine that, man. Like, imagine that today I wouldn't be around.
Barstow.
Yeah, I wouldn't be around because of one mistaken trip to that, and that's still true, still freaking true. You know what I mean? Like, living here in the States, it's just, even though we live in Irvine, and the likelihood of getting shot in Irvine is very little. Like, me and my friends were just like freaking out because some guy was driving around like lost. They're like, "He's gonna shoot us."
It actually, in that show, it happens too.
Oh, what?
the black market. It's crazy because there's a guy that they're interviewing, right? And he's
Uh-huh.
like talking about like, I run guns, whatever. It's like, it's just a lifestyle or whatever. And then later on, I guess like after like towards the end of the show, they're like, yeah, the guy we interviewed, like he died later that day. Like,
What?
shot. And it's funny
Yeah,
because the guy like he
that's
starts talking to him. And
scary,
he's like
man.
yeah. So when the cameras are off, he took off his mask and he was like, take me with you. He's like, I don't want to die. Like, I don't want to die on these streets. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I want to get out of it. Even though he was gun running and he was like, like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. He's like, just take me with you. He's like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I want to get out of it. Because obviously, this guy the guy that runs the show, he's from that area, but now he's like a famous actor. He's got a lot of money or whatever. But he was like, take me with you, and he was like, I can't just take you with me. You know what I mean? And then, he felt bad, and then literally that guy died like the same day. Like he got shot, and he was like, "You're like, what the fuck?" You're like, man, that fucking sucks, man. Because because he knew eventually it was gonna happen. And it happened that same day. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
like, that's rough.
that is rough, man.
Shit. So
Yeah,
that's why I stick to knives, bro. Stick to knives.
yeah, man.
Sayak, bro.
I remember I was talking to my youngest teenager about this topic too, and he was talking about that. He's like, "Well, people can still stab you with a knife because I guess he had a because he's my stepson, and I believe his father has a very conservative point of view, or people he hangs around with do." And he was bringing that point up, and I was like, "Listen, son, but can't you run away from someone that has a knife, right?"
Yeah,
It's like,
that's the first thing you're taught in Psylocke, which is for those of you that don't know, there's a art called Psylocke Kali, which means like the way of the blade, I guess if you want to translate literally. And it's a Filipino martial art, and it's
yeah, it's
all
dope.
it all involves blades, like short knives, long knives, sometimes machetes, sticks, all kinds of stuff. It's something that I do in my spare time. I do it like once a week. Sometimes if I can't do it more. Just because the only reason why I do it is just because you never know when someone might have a knife and you can't run away. But the first thing they always tell you, they're like, if you don't have a blade and they have a blade, like, just run. He's like, if you can run, just run. He's
But
like,
even they'd even tell you like even if you have a blade and they have a
yeah,
blade,
they're like,
you
even if
just
you have a
run.
blade and
It's
you
like
don't
the
have a
word.
blade, like if you can just run, like it's not worth it because like the stuff that you learn is actually really fucking practical. Like, he's like, but they always tell you, they're like, at best, you'll be able to
Get stabbed a
block.
few
Maybe,
times.
you'll probably be able to stop
Right?
maybe one, maybe even two. But in a situation where it's dark, you can't see, you could trip.
Yeah.
It's not a dojo where it was like even ground. You're not wearing the right. You're wearing some jeans. You're not
Sure.
wearing shorts. It's like there's so many variables that can really not go in your favor, no matter how well you're trained. And so they're just like, if you
Yeah.
can just run. Like, don't ask the situation. But if you can't, like, if you were somewhere, if you're an idiot somewhere someday, and you walked into a empty alleyway that has no exit, there's like a guy with a knife, and he's like, I want to kill you, no matter what. Then
Yeah.
it's like, all right, do these things. But if they're just asking for your wallet or whatever, then just give them your wallet. Like they'll even tell you,
Yes.
give them your stuff. He's like, but after you give them your shit, like if they're still there, at that point, one thing
Yeah.
they can take is your life, and at that point, you got to be ready for that shit. And so, but the
Yeah,
first
they tell you, right? Like you even told me like they warn you is like if you get in a knife fight, you're gonna get stabbed. Like there's like almost no way around it. Like it's
yeah. So we practice like cuts. So you practice learning how to cut someone, how to get cut. So you learn how to get cut, but then you also learn where the vital templates are. So then if you're getting cut, you're not freaking out. So you realize like, oh, I can get cut there because it's not gonna be fine. So then usually you practice there's some kind of sparring sessions where they practice cutting each other to small little cuts, and then obviously you break the flow, and then you go for a vital, like a kill shot, some kind of stuff like that. But you learn how to like, okay, these are the parts where you can get cut, and if that happens, you don't freak out because those you won't bleed out from these
Yeah.
spots, you will. And so it's like that kind of stuff where that is a lot better than trust me than a gun. Like a gun, like there's
yeah,
a lot of
there's
things
no gun kata classes out there because it's pretty simple. It's like you point and shoot. In fact, there's the FBI put out a statistic that said most gun crimes, or not most, but like quite a bit, the people who actually had the gun got shot by their own gun. Because
Yeah.
like there was like a rustle or a tumbling of sorts, and the person that they were trying to shoot got hold of the gun, and guess what? They shot the person. It's
Yeah. So I mean, they even tell you, they say, hey, like using this. I remember the first time Ricardo ever told me, he's like, if you're ever going to use this, he's like, it's like using a gun. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And it's like, if you use this martial art, the other person will die. There's no middle ground. There's no like putting them to sleep or you know
sure.
armbar, and it's like they will die. So you have to be very very sure that you're ready to kill somebody. And with that, obviously, there are a lot of unknown variables that you can't predict. So you have to be like, again, you have to be very very sure about that stuff. And it's funny because all those guys use guns too, but again, all of them are very like, they're like the people that would never escalate situation.
Hmm.
They're like, just de-escalate situation. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to ever use it.
Was it the cops in Denmark that are like trained for 2 years on how to de-escalate a situation? Right? Like there's a video I saw recently about that where the cops are trained to be cops. They teach the cops how to calm everyone the hell down and to de-escalate situations. So
Yeah.
that there's less violence that's had at the situation. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. But they do it for 2 years, right? It's like 2 years of like full on hardcore like police training, where I believe our police force only gets like a few weeks or like a few months of training, and they're like, all right, you're good, and now here's your weapon, and go out there and police, And in fact, there's like another problem is that our police are given too many jobs. Like they're supposed to manage too many things. You know what I mean? Which is not entirely their fault. Like who says that they need to actually go show up for like just someone, pulling signs out of like out of the grass, or there's an autistic kid that happens to be just kind of acting weird. Like it's not necessarily a cop situation, right? Especially if there's no weapons at hand. Like you don't send cops necessarily to a fire, right? You send the firefighters, right? Because cops are not trained to put out fires. At least most of them are not, right? Firefighters are. And so it's just kind of like our system is kind of broken, man, all over the place, and we need to fix it, like quick. So like I got kids, man, and I don't want them to walk around in a world where like they're not even safe by the people that are supposed to keep us safe, and they're not even safe because like people who think safety means more violence. It's just like, no, man, there's plenty of great examples outside of our country. We're not the best country at everything. We got to be humble.
You're in Irvine, man. You'd be all right. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the like draws of living in Irvine. It's just like such a clean city, such a very safe, very very safe community. You know,
But that
but
also is probably like, but that's also probably a problem too, because if shit really does go down, half the cops probably aren't prepared for that
they're
shit.
not, dude.
They're
They
like, "Wait,
aren't.
what? Oh no, what do we do?"
Yeah, my friend who is a cop, like, and like here's the thing, like I have friends who are cops and they're really good people, and they're like one, for instance, one guy was telling me like, whenever someone like starts to escalate like a situation, he's like, you don't shoot them. He's like, I've never pulled my gun out, you know. He's like, we have a lot more arsenal, you know, at our disposal. He's like, if someone's really crazy and you're close enough to them, he says you just take them out. You just like take them to the ground, right? Like if they're getting really physical, really like violent, and there's no coming down from it. Usually like drunk people. He's like, yeah, I just immediately just take them to the ground, you know. I don't. He's like, it never crosses my mind to use my weapon. He's like, so it makes me sad to see all these other cops that just like freak the hell out, you know. And for instance, he said when he was trying to get a job here in Irvine, he couldn't get it because they said he's too much brute force, right? And he's like, dude, I work for L.A. County, you know. It's like there's some occasions where I have to actually, you know, wrestle a guy, you know, because they won't listen. And he's like, because in Irvine, I guess the guys never do, right? They're just like, they're asking him like,
Sure.
oh, have you ever shot somebody? And he's like, no. And they're like, oh, have you ever like take someone down? He's like, yeah. You know, like he was talking to them, and they just had no clue how to handle the situation. And he said that there was a situation where um, he was listening on the radio and how the Irvine cops were like made a 360 surrounded like around a perimeter around this suspect or something like that. And he heard that on the radio. He's like, wait, 360? Like, you mean like every cop is pointing at another cop? Like, so they pull their guns out, like they are pointing their guns at each other? Like, what kind of... It's like, what? You know? He's like, why would they do that? And that's funny because there's like a shooting that just happened when that I saw in the footage where the cops were shooting at each other. Right? Did you see that? It was
No, I didn't see that.
insane, dude. Like they were just like this guy just drove off because he didn't want to get arrested, and he just drove off and they just started shooting at the gun. But there was one guy another cop on the opposite side of the car, and the cop was shooting in that direction of his other, like, and the other cop's like, oh, shots are being fired, and then it's like he starts shooting, and it's just like it's like the Wild West, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Got to get some like vest or something. Just buy your kid a vest for Christmas. Like, oh my gosh,
man.
it's a new vest. Yeah, granted, I don't have kids, so I don't know what that feeling
It's
is like.
frightening, dude.
And all I have a dog. That's Toby's cute as fuck. No one wants to shoot him. I don't think.
You don't think? Put the dog on the ground.
Maybe my neighbor now after that whole situation, but other than that, like, yeah, I don't think about it. I mean, usually I just try to make sure I just don't put myself in position. I don't stay out too late, or I don't go in areas. I'm like,
Yeah, there's
people.
things you can do, sure.
Yeah, things you can do. So I try to just make sure that, like, just make sure I'm just not in those situations. And then if it comes to that, the only reason I even thought about doing a psyop obviously is because obviously I'm getting married soon. So I'm like, I got to make sure I know how to protect my wife from shit. So now
I actually.
self-defense, that kind of stuff. So now I feel a lot more comfortable. Like, I just ordered like a blade actually that you can carry on you, because obviously there's blade laws. But when I walk home from the academy at night, I have to walk through kind of like a kind of a little bit of an isolated street to get to the parking lot. You never know. You just want to keep one on you, but it's more so those kind of situations where, like, you might be going down someplace you don't know. It's like you just want to feel more comfortable. And now I feel a lot more comfortable having taken that kind of stuff. Like, I know if stuff were to go down and we can't get away, or if someone were to try to jump me or something like that, like, I feel a lot more comfortable being able to handle it and have that stuff go down. But more times than not, like, I will definitely not do anything, because like just not even that, but like even when you're out and about, like, I see people fighting in clubs and shit, because I still go out clubbing. I'm still one of those guys. Just for the dancing part of it, but I see people fighting, and I'm like, dude, like, I've seen it happen before where I think it was somewhere in Huntington Beach, where a guy hit a guy, right, and they were fighting, and the guy fell on the ground, and he hit something on the ground, hit his neck wrong, and it like took him out, like he was like it broke like his spine or something like that, and the guy went to jail for like manslaughter because the guy fell wrong, right? Because that's what can happen. Like, you could hit a guy for no reason, and even with your hands, they fall wrong, or they hit the head wrong, they could possibly die from that. Next thing you know, you're in jail. And it's like, that's not worth it either.
Yeah, I told Bea I wanted to get her pepper spray for those same reasons, and she was just kind of like she wanted a taser, right? She's a taser would be better. And I was like, no, not really, because some people, when they get tased,
they just fall.
They fall, right? It's like pepper spray is just a lot of pepper in your face. You're freaking
I
out.
can picture Bea just with a taser.
Yeah.
Just like put someone in like a rear naked choke, just right in the neck. Zzz, drops them.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
anyone else?
I was like, I don't want to put you in a situation where you accidentally really hurt somebody. I was like, of course I don't want them to hurt you, but you don't have to. You don't have to go to that level. Like, you can just
see Bea tase that guy in the
pepper spray and just run after that, right? Like, just pepper spray the person and just book it. Because
it's so funny if I saw Bea like in a salsa club just fucking tasing dude. I'd be like, oh shit, run, dude, for your life. You were outnumbered.
Yeah, they have like that gun that's coming out. It's like the salt gun that shoots salt, and it's the same thing. It's just like it just makes people really uncomfortable for a little bit.
Salt?
Yeah, it just like it shoots it like a bullet, but like it explodes, and there's salt in your eyes and your nose. It just sucks. I bet
That's gotta be just more infuriating. Like after you lose a fighting game, like, you salty, bro? Just shoot him.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's actually kind of funny. Like, hit him with the salt. That's a weird thing.
Let's see who else is up in here. We got Hung. What's up, Hung? And then we got Julio. We got Juliana. What's up? Got Oscar. Sofiane, another Jose, I believe, Greiger. Check out this guy, best Cali instructor I know of. Oh, okay. And then wait, how I imagine LA during this discussion. I don't know what he said, but I'm sure it's funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk more about it anymore. But like the whole point I was trying to make with this discussion is that there's clearly a problem, and we have to fix the problem. Okay, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like at this point, whatever the arguments are, it just doesn't work. Like on both sides, you know, we just need to just address it right away. I don't know what I can do on my part. I actually thought about doing some illustrations that really conveyed kind of a satire of like the ideas behind certain arguments. You know, because I'm an artist and that's what I can contribute to. But I just don't know what those would be, and I have to make sure that it powerfully reflects my point of view.
Yeah, like it's funny because I've actually bought Jacqueline a taser before. I don't know if I think I told you that story.
Oh, yeah?
Of how she was almost robbed in Oakland. Like luckily she got into her car before before any of that happened. But then her friend didn't get in the car right away, and the guys were like, "Yo, give us your shit, or we'll pop off. We're gonna shoot you." But luckily she had gotten in her car. She honked the horn. She flashed her lights, and the guys ran away. And you know. So then she was really shaken up by it. So I mean, it's been a couple of times. So, but it's funny though, like, 'cause I always tell the story of me going to the gun store and telling this guy, I was like, hey man, like my girlfriend almost got robbed. You know, she's a little shaken up. I was looking to buy something, you know, that we could, so she could possibly feel a little bit more safe in the event that
the off chance that it happens again.
The off chance that it happens again, she at least feels a little bit more safe, or at least something that she can have out when she walks to her car. Because where her dance studio was in Oakland, it's kind of like it's a decent safe area, but it's one of those things where you go to the next street, it's ghetto, and so that ghetto-ness can easily kind of creep over. So so the guy goes, okay, I hear you. Here's what you want, man. Here's what you want. Here it is, man. I'm not 11. It says semi-automatic, 12 rounds. And so I look at him and I'm just like, wait, what? And he's like, good weight. If he's like, you feel that? It's good weight. 12 rounds, semi-automatic. Pull that out. You can take them down every single time.
You're like, my girlfriend is not a certified gun shooter. She's
And so I literally told him, I was like, dude, I use that gun in Black Ops and I don't use that gun because it has too much kick. Like, it has too much kick in the fucking game. How the fuck am I gonna give it to a girl, like a 5'5" Filipino woman that doesn't even like? If I don't use it in the game because it has too much kick, why the hell would I do it in real life? He's like, all right, I see that. All right, we'll just do some a little bit later. It's a little bit lighter. So then he pulls out, literally, I kid you not, it's probably at least like a mini bat, like 30, probably about like 27 inches long, like a huge flashlight. And on the end of the flashlight were like 5 spikes. It kind of imagine like the Sarlacc pit, like the teeth. It's kind of like that. And there's a taser / flashlight / like baton. And he's like, check this out, man. This is like the X9 2000 like baton taser. And he's like, watch this. And he presses it, and it's so loud that like everyone in the store freaks out because it's so loud. And he's like, yeah, man, you run with that every single time. You press that button, they'll back away every time. And then the wife comes out and she's like, yeah, man, like I have that when I go running. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm cracking up. I'm like, where do you run that you feel like you need that? And he's like, yeah, man. So he's like doing the motion of like stabbing a guy in the rib with the thing. He's like, yeah, man, hit him right there, turn it on, they'll back away every time. And if you run out of battery, you can just stab him with it. And if you don't want to do that, you can flip it around. It's a club. So feel that weight. Feel that. That's good, right? And I was just like, she can't fit that in her purse, like her clutch or anything. I was like, where's she going to put that? And she's like, okay. I got something else for you. And I was like, I can't stand this guy already. Then he pulls out a taser. I forget the name of the taser, but it's one of those ones where it's like connected to like to the string. What do you call it?
Oh, yeah. Those ones are the worst. Those are the ones that make people fall to the ground. Like, they just, like,
yeah, he's
paralyzed.
like, check this out. And it's like, this is like the XT1000 or whatever. It's got 2 dual action prongs. You fire that, and like he fires it like against the wall, and it's gonna hit him. And as long as you hit him, he's like, you've got control. And I was like, what? And he's like, and after that, if you run out of power, those detach. It's still a stun gun. And I was like, So you think that my girlfriend, my now fiance, is gonna pull this out, aim, hit the guy, and this is all? She's just gonna do this, and he's like,
Yes.
okay, yeah, you're right. It's like, who are these people, man? That like
Well, like,
sell people shit. It was beyond. So eventually, he had like a big stun gun, and then finally, I bought a little one, and I bought pepper spray. But it was more so the fact that like I said, my girl was almost robbed. Like I wanted to feel a little bit safer. Like his first thought is M911. I was like, what? I was just like, people are insane, and so.
yeah.
And I never forget that. I never forget that moment when that guy was like going down down the block of like things he should use. I still kind of want to buy that one, the light with the freaking stun gun on it. Cause I look pretty
Sure.
crazy as a weapon. That was a good reference.
Yeah, that I could see be like a really powerful intimidation, intimidating tool too, right? Like pulling that out and go, "Pow, pow, 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 pow," like it's just like super loud. I could get that, right? But the same problem still exists, is that it's like such a dangerous weapon, and like if the person that you're going against knows how to use it more better than you, and know that you might not even know how to use it, and they have just some experience on how to disarm you, right? Like you put yourself in a situation where they can do it back to you, right?
Yeah,
And that's the problem with a lot of this stuff. Like
It's,
unless you don't know how, like nobody, like that's the problem. Like nobody trains how to not get disarmed. Now, like how to not go against another potentially an experienced user of any kind of weapon, right? Like, you know, in fact, some of these people that are like down on their luck are experienced, like or like veterans, because because the government screwed them over and now they're like out there, right? So you don't know, man. Like the worst case scenario, let's say imagine pepper spray, right? Is that Jacqueline just gets pepper sprayed in her face and she gets robbed, right? Like she's not gonna die. She's lost her stuff, you know. But imagine if it was that freaking the gun instead, you know? It's just, dude, it's so terrible. Anyway,
Right, so talking about guns. Let's talk
yeah.
about some other things like Toronto. If you're gonna be in Toronto, September 3rd and 4th, we're gonna be in the area doing some demos. I'm talking about with Jamar later on today. It's gonna be me, Anthony Jones, Daniel Levisi, and John Polidora. Going to be a super cool event. If you probably already heard about it, but if you're not going and you're close by, you should totally go. We do a lot of cool things. I'm actually looking on making a gum road, like a free gum road, and all that I ask is that you just share the event on your Facebook page, and we'll give you a little discount code. You get it for free. Otherwise, you pay a regular price. All that kind of stuff. So, in the chat, if you're interested, throw some comments on what you guys would like to see. I already have a couple ideas, but we'll see what happens there. But that's definitely like what we're definitely up to right now with Robot Pencil is being in Toronto, and I'm excited. And you've been to Toronto, right? You've been.
Yeah. It's a beautiful city.
I haven't been, so I'm looking forward. Is it gonna be cold there? Do you know?
No. Well, actually, I don't know. It might be.
You should look into that. If it's gonna be cold or not. But yeah, we're gonna have demos. We're gonna be having talks, Q&A, all that kind of stuff. We won't talk about guns. We promise. Even though that's crazy.
We might.
Gun rant. We might.
But the Canadians don't know what that's about. They don't understand.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We're gonna be a different country.
Yeah. They don't have such a bad problem with their weapons.
Yeah, there'll be there'll be all kinds of fun stuff. We gotta get some prizes. We gotta get some. I gotta make sure actually Jamaro and JP go and grab some swag from their office like last time.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, JP really saved us in Barcelona. All the cool stuff that we got for prizes. So so again, just go to edgecontrolexpo.com. I'm sure Zabby someone will put it in the description. But it's going to be a really cool event. It's going to be our first one there. And there's actually also like a thing going on too, like a Comic-Con thing over there as well. So you might as well go to both. There's no reason why you can't do both, you know what I mean? So it's going to be the first time we're going to have some badass people. I mean, I'm sure y'all have been seeing Jamaro's sketches like he's been doing online. He's been posting, and I'm like, damn, I can't wait to go watch this dude talk about life and art and do shit. Like, I'm definitely excited about it.
Yeah, John Morrow is definitely one of my favorite people that I know. And I'm glad he's going to be doing some good lessons there.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I'm excited for JP stuff too, because JP was telling me that he's like His one at Barcelona, he had a little bit of some technical difficulties and stuff like that. But now he's like, oh, I'm ready now. He's like, I figured some shit out because I think that was kind of like one of like his first like official kind of like workshops.
Yeah, he did great though, from what I heard.
Yeah, he did a great job. But how it is. Like it's your first one, then you get better at it. And so now he's like, yo, like I figured some things out. Like I got better. Like I know how to even make it better. And I'm like, oh shit. So it's gonna be dope. And then I'm not sure what Dan's gonna be doing. Dan's just gonna be Danny. Dan's just gonna talk about his life, probably update us on some of his stuff. He hasn't been around. I know he's been busy doing crazy movie deals and stuff like that. So I'll be kind of curious to see where he's at in his life with that when we get to Toronto. That should be a good time. And then I'm actually curious to what you're going to be doing. I wonder if you're going to have this done before Toronto. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll talk about the future of what concept art can be and potentially like how to build your own, ability to finance the stuff you want to do. Because I've been working on that for the last few years, and I think I finally have a system that could be helpful for a lot of people. But probably the biggest thing I'll probably talk about is like how failures help lead to success. That'll probably be the biggest thing.
Yeah. I'm definitely curious to see what you're going to talk about too. I mean, I think in the span of from Barcelona to now, there's a lot of things we've been we doing stuff with more stuff with VR. All these things are happening. So.
Does anyone have any questions about anything, actually?
Platform. Yeah, I'll read through it right now and just make sure there's not any questions. Thanks, Will, for posting the Edge Control Expo thing. Appreciate that. Definitely check it out. Share it, please. It's going to be a great event, and people that are running it are some of my ages ex-students, and they're doing this literally all on their own, and it's already looking like
they're doing. I'm very proud of them. They're
they're really freaking smart. And they're gonna like how much work. Like literally, I sit here almost every other day with these guys, and we always just talk about making sure that we're on point, making sure we're getting the proper promotions, all that kind of stuff, making sure this event is going to be really really good. And even then, after that, I gotta start talking with Brian because Brian Deacon wants to plan for next year for Barcelona, so all that kind of stuff. So it's all these things that are happening, and it's going to be a great event, but Toronto's going to just be really, really awesome. Felipe asked, any plans of bringing it back to Brazil again?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. As long as it's safe out there, man. Olympics are going really hard. I'm just kidding. We should definitely. I wanted to go that first time, but I was busy. But I wouldn't mind going back. Are you guys looking at and someone asked about Germany. I'd love to go to Germany. I've been in Germany before. I love that place. I have a lot of friends in Germany, actually, that I used to work with in Spain that currently live out there. So Dubai, actually, that conversation still should be going on. I have some friends, my Moroccan homies, wherever they are. They're probably not in the chat right now, but they work over, I think, at the Ubisoft, something like that. There's a game company out there, and they talked about us going to Dubai. Dubai would be really fun, actually. I would love to go to Dubai. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want us in your area, I mean, all we really need is a flight, and there you go. So you're gonna have to probably talk to who is it? Osama and Hicham, and probably think it's Saleh. I forget his name. I feel so bad. And we'll definitely get that going. We'd love to come out there. For anyone that wants to come out and do workshops, I'm sure you guys have probably heard the positive things that happen at these workshops because they're so much fun. And we love doing them. I mean, all we need is a flight and a place to stay and possibly some food. And
we don't need food.
I don't need food. I don't even need a bed. I just need like a floor. We will come out there and we'll bring our friends and we'll have workshops for days, man. So yeah. So Sufayani, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. I probably butchered that one. But yeah, just message me and we'll figure it out. UK, we got plenty of people in UK too. I mean, we got plans for next year to probably start doing some more. But I think what I have to do on my part is I have to make like a official form or some kind of link on our Robot Pencil page. And
okay. I got to get going actually pretty soon.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Just a second. Can you tell my dad to call us back in a little bit?
What's up?
I'm gonna end the stream. Oh, my dad just called. I need to talk to my dad. But yeah, I was planning on ending it too anyway, so we're good. So finish
Okay,
your thoughts, and then
let me make sure there isn't any other questions that you can answer in the next couple. Yeah, I don't think there's anything. Yeah, I need to eat. Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys for coming through. I should probably go walk my dog, but I think tomorrow. What are we doing here tomorrow? It's at. Are we moving it tomorrow? Are we moving the time? Looks like. No, 3 p.m. Okay, good. We're good. So yeah, so at 3 p.m. Jamar's gonna be demoing. So just come on through, and we'll be getting it going. So.
All right, cool.
Thank you, dude.
All right, thanks for hanging out with me, Kalen. Hope you guys enjoyed this painting. I'm gonna, like I said throughout the streams, I'm just gonna keep painting this until it's done. And it's like a 360. That's the goal of it. And so you can see kind of this is what it looks like right now in 360, which is pretty fun to see.
It's looking pretty good so far. I like it.
Yeah.
Rendered that really quickly. That dude. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I think I can actually get this done faster than I originally
Yeah,
thought.
if you do like what, like 2 characters like a day, maybe like a half a character.
I had a dream about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I could probably do this in under 10 hours. I was like, I could totally do that. You know, because I realized the resolution doesn't have to be really high, because the 360 once it goes up to Facebook, it's not to be that powerful. And plus, it's like a painting, so it's cool if it's a little bit painterly.
Yeah, and then you can go outside, take a panorama photo, slap it in, and then paint over it. I mean, for the background, like, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Anywho, cool. All right, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Peace out, Kalen. Peace out, friends. Have a good week, or actually, good week, because the week's starting up now. And then I'll probably stream tomorrow as well sometime. So just work on this whenever I have have off time. But right now I have to go talk to my dad, eat some food, and get ready to go to my friend's going away party. All right.
Where's he going, by the way?
He's going to Washington, D.C.
Nice. All right, dude. All right, man. Be safe out there. I'll see you around. Peace.